Donald Trump did a hilarious, rambling press conference yesterday. I want to go through a bunch of it with you. So let's start with what a mess the United States was before Trump came in. Sad.
To be honest, I inherited a mess. It's a mess. At home and abroad, a mess. Jobs are pouring out of the country. You see what's going on with all of the companies leaving our country, going to Mexico and other places. Low pay, low wages, mass instability overseas, no matter where you look. The Middle East, a disaster. North Korea, we'll take care of it, folks. We're going to take care of it all. I just want to let you know, I inherited a mess.
Trump is... I actually think he's a genius at marketing. I mean, he wouldn't have gotten elected if that wasn't the case. He finds a way. He just says the same thing over and over and over, and he says it so much, and he says it with such a force of will that people who aren't well versed on the facts just go, I guess it's a mess. I guess it's a mess, and he's going to fix it. Remember, he said that during his RNC speech. I alone can fix it. Who says that? I alone can fix it. What are you, a fucking superhero in a comic book? But I think this kind of shit lands, even though it sounds ridiculous to people who follow the news on a regular basis and are political junkies. But let me go ahead and put this in perspective for you. Now, does the United States have big problems? Yes. Did he lay out some of the things that are big problems? Yes. He said, outsourcing jobs. Agreed. Huge problem. He said, foreign policy is kind of bad right now. I agree with that. I think he's right for the wrong reasons, though, because sometimes he says, let's not be involved in all these places. But then the other half of the time, he says, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them, and I have a super-duper secret plan to defeat ISIS. So who knows if he's going to go in a more hawkish direction or a more dovish direction. My guess would be more hawkish. So he would do more of the problem thinking it's the solution. But yes, there are problems. Outsourcing is a problem. Foreign policy is a giant problem. But here's what Donald Trump inherited. Over 18 million jobs created under his predecessor. The market doubled under his predecessor. Now look, I don't use the market as a good indicator as to the health of the average American. But the Republicans do. So I'm using their standards here. If under a Republican president, we created over 18 million private sector jobs, and we doubled the market, they would say that's the best president ever by far. They'd already want to put him on currency. And also the deficit was cut in half under Obama. They love to talk about the national debt, but the national debt is a misleading metric because that's all the debt accumulated from the beginning of the existence of the country. The annual deficit is a much better indication because it shows you how they did with their time window. And under Obama, the most recent budget deficit, it was cut in half from what he inherited. So, all right, are there problems? Yes, but are we in much better shape than we were in fucking 2008 and 2009? Unquestionably. So he's up there whining and moaning and bitching about it's a mess. I inherited a mess. Sad. Do you have any idea what Obama inherited? Now, look, everybody knows I'm not a partisan Democrat Obama apologist. He's one of the best presidents. He gets an A+. He gets an A+++. I did a whole segment over an hour long where I give Obama a report card. And in the report card, I'll just spoil it for you now if you haven't seen it, but I suggest going to watch that segment because I get into so many details and give you all the specifics of the policies he did. I gave him a 67. He barely fucking passed. So I'm not an Obama apologist. But look at what he inherited. Guys, we were losing 800,000 jobs a month when Obama took office. 800,000. It was the biggest downturn since the Great Depression. We had a subprime mortgage crisis. We had a great recession. The market was fucking collapsing. GM needed to be bailed out. I mean, the list goes on and on as to, you want to talk about a headache. I wouldn't wish that burden on anybody to have to try to deal with that. Now, I may disagree with ways in which Obama went about it, but you have to understand, yes, it is the case that he prevented what could have easily been a depression. He did. He just did. No matter what you think of Obama, that is the case. So what Obama inherited versus what Trump is inheriting, there's no comparison, but Trump's up there whining. But that's the thing about Trump. Again, he's such a good marketer. He finds a way to turn his whining and bitching into that something that sounds strong to people who aren't that bright. Because he's like, oh, sad, I inherited a mess, sad. And he's complaining. It's like he's fucking bitching. But then he spins it as like, we're going to take care of it all, folks. Like he comes in as the daddy figure, like, I'm going to take care of it all. But what's incredibly misleading is the entire fucking premise of his point. Because the premise of his point is just not true. We have many problems. We do have, in many respects, a country that's a disaster right now. But the comparison of what he's inheriting to what Obama is inherited, there is no comparison. And imagine Trump having inherited that mess. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's just... Forget about it. You can't even have that conversation. He wouldn't. GM would be gone. You know, the stimulus package wouldn't have happened. We'd still have unemployment through the fucking roof. Forget about it. He would do more deregulation as opposed to regulation. I have many problems with Dodd-Frank, but the problem is it was too weak. Not that it was too strong and we shouldn't have done anything. That's what the Republicans would have done. They would say, oh, this is the problem. We need to deregulate more, which is what Trump is doing now. He's taking an axe to Dodd-Frank. So this is classic, revisionist history from Republicans. And he sounds like a child up there, but it fucking resonated to an extent, and that's really pathetic.